The next tag we're looking at that helps us in formatting our text is what we call the subscript. The subscript and superscript. Superscript. So, subscript, superscript. You guys must have noticed in mathematics we used to have what we call raised to power, and then we used to have what we call base. For example, you have an x. So, for example, remember we used to have, let me make it bigger. So, remember we used to have something like this, and then we want to, make it x raised to power 2. So, what do? We come to, where is that? Okay. Okay, so this is it. So we'll say superscript. Alright, so we have something like this. This is x raised to power 2. And when we want to make it come down, we say x base 2. So when we have it like this, x raised to power 2, we say this is superscript. When we have it like this, we say this is a subscript. And then when we have it like this, we say this is superscript. Alright, so if we come back to our VS Code, right, so if we want to have something like that, let's say we have x2. Okay, so when we have x2, how do we turn it, or how do we generate a superscript and a subscript? So for a subscript, you make use of the sub tag. Alright, so for example, you have an x, and then we want to make the 2. Okay, so you can actually see what happens here. You're having a subscript. Okay, and then when we want to have a superscript, we make use of the sub tag. The sub tag. This is what happens. Okay, so for the subscript, it creates a subscript text used for footnote or technical formulas. But for a subscript or superscript, it creates a superscript text which is often used for exponents or ordinal numbers. Alright? So, if, for example, let's say you have this kind of formula, and then you're having a sub. So this is how to create it in HTML. Okay, so we'll go to the next one, which is called the marked or highlighted text. You want to mark a text or you want to highlight it for the browser to see. So how do you achieve that? Okay, so marked or highlighted text. How do you achieve that? You make use of the mark tag. That's how to achieve it, mark tag. So let's assume that I have some strings of text. Hello, Mr. Henry. Then let's add something within the mark text. Make sure, so let's do that. Let's make sure you come today. Okay, so you can actually see what we have achieved here. So when you make use of a mark text, you highlight the text, you indicate relevance or importance to the browser. Okay, and then most times it's often displayed with a yellow background. So once anybody is reading your page and then finds, this will attract the eyes of the person. Alright, so that is the importance we're talking about. Okay, so let's go to the next one that we're looking at. So we're looking at small text. So what if you want to make a certain text to be small? So how do you achieve that? You make use of the small tag. Okay, when you make use of this, you reduce the size of the text, which is often used for disclaimer or footnotes or fine print. Okay, it's very important we go through all this. When you have this knowledge, you take them in, it stays with you forever, right? So, for example, let's say, let's have a paragraph. Let's delete this. So let's have a paragraph. And inside this paragraph, I say this is, okay, now say maybe small. So inside that small, we say small. And then we say text. So look at what happens here. Come copy this. Let me. So we have enough. So we can actually see that this small is actually not on the same size with the other text. So that's how to make a text small. So let's look at the next tag that we're looking at. So we're looking at what we call quoted text. Quoted text. And there's another one we call the block text. Block quotes. Alright. So what does this actually do? When you make use of the quotes, which is represented with the Q tag, so what this actually does is to represent a short quotation, okay, inline, a short quotation embedded within the text, alright, which is normally, typically displayed with quotation marks. Then when you make use of the block quotes, the block quote represents a longer block of quotes, or a longer block of quoted text, which is often indented, alright, so that is represented using block quotes. Alright, so let's see an example. So let's have a paragraph. So let's say we have a paragraph. So we say she is, okay, she is, and then inside this, let's have a quote. So we say let's say she said, what is she saying? She said, this is a short quote. So let's see how it comes out. This is a short quote. So you can actually see that it's just a way of you adding quotes in between or inside your page. Alright, so let's see how the second works. The block quotes. How does the block quote work? So let's say this is a longer block quote. Okay, this is a longer block quote, and then and so on. So but in the real, alright, so how does the block quote work? Simple, just say block quotes, okay, put them inside the block quotes, and then say this is a longer block quote, okay. So it could be a passage, it could be anything, right? But see how it appears here now. You see? So it actually gives you like, it actually, okay, let me do something now. Let me keep on adding, so you can actually see. So look at it now. So it's just as if it's giving you a kind of paragraph, or it's giving you a kind of indentation, right? So this is what the block quote tag does. Okay, so let's quickly go to the next one. So the next tag, formatting tag we're looking at is code and pre-formatted text. So how do we represent this? Say code for the first one, then for the other one we have what we call pre. So let's see how this actually works. So for the code, it is used to define inline code snippets. Okay, while for the pre tag, it preserves white space and formatting, typically that is used for a longer block of code. So let's see examples. So let's say we have a paragraph. So say inline code. Okay, so let's say code. So inside this code now, we're see print, say hello world. Okay, so we say print hello world. Now look at what happens here. Okay, look at what happens. So we're actually using this code tag, right, to actually put in what is supposed to be like keywords in what's it called now? How do I put this? There are some certain keywords that you use in programming languages. Now, once you use them elsewhere or within the program, it will flash you an error. Okay, so when you make use of this code tag, it actually helps you to prevent that error. That's what I'm trying to say here. Alright, so you can actually see, look at what happens here. Okay, so it's coming out in form of a code snippet. Okay, so basically when looking at this while you are reading the page, you know that this is actually a code snippet. Okay, alright, so for the other one, which is called the, so let's also use it. So let's do this now. Say pre. Okay, so we'll say define def hello. Okay, just as if you're writing a function. Then we'll say print hello world. Okay, so look at it. Look at it. So that's that.